you get tired, you're doing a lot of work, but I'm as of now, and I feel fairly well. So I get around and I do things around the house and that, but I don't drive 500 miles like Rick, and I don't do a lot of other things. And that's pretty much where I am now. I've been taking some physical therapy during the summertime also, because my balance hasn't been as good as it used to be. So that's the other issue that I've been having. But that's where I am today.
Can I just ask you a couple of questions?
My wife can say what it is.
To clarify a couple of things, Richard?
Yeah.
First of all, how old are you?
I'm 73.
73. And when were you first diagnosed?
I was first diagnosed when I was
March 2014.
March 2014.
March 2014. And then so you did the ADT and the brachy and the IMRT all in 2014, correct?
That is correct.
And then in 2015, it drove your PSA down to an insignificant level, and you took a break.
That is correct.
And then you resumed the Pharmagon with the Garelix in 2016.
I stopped at the Garelix in September of 2015.
Right.
Which was a year after I finished the radiation treatment.
Okay.
And then it wasn't until about June of 2016 that my PSA just rose a slight amount to to point, above insignificant, little above insignificant. It never reached 1.
Okay. How high did it get when it came back? Did you say 0.3?
It came back about 0.3, yeah.
Right, okay. And that's when they discovered that you had mets on the liver and the bone and your bones and
No. That's when they gave me an MRI and they showed that there may be some mets on a couple of my bones, but there was no indication it was on the liver or anything else.
Okay.
It took till November of 2016, which is another 6 months, 3 to 4 months, I should say.
Right.
After it started to rise, before this, what the doctor said was sort of a catastrophic explosion of occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I believe the cancer was in my moved through my lymph nodes,
right, to
the liver, lungs, and that. So there was some lymph node involvement also, I should have said.
Right. And then,
but that occurred quite a bit after the PSA started to rise.
Right.
And over a year after ADT was stopped originally.
Right. And then you've done 8 treatments of carboplatin and docetaxel, and then you took a break, and now you've done another 3 treatments. Is that right?
It was actually 9. It should have been 9 and 2 treatments.
Not 9, and then how long did you?
I didn't take a break. There was no break intended. Yeah.
There was. The break was not intended. Basically, when they discovered something on the lungs, they thought he might have pneumonia, and they thought that the chemo might interfere with the pneumonia. So that's why he took a short break from that, but it was never intended to take a break.
I understand. And have they ever described your cancer as being small cell or neuroendocrine cancer?
No, I've never heard that.
You haven't, huh? Okay.
No.
That's a question I would ask Dr. Morris, whether he thinks you have small cell or neuroendocrine cancer, because the way that he's treating you from the outset would probably suggest that. There's a good article. I don't have your email address, but I think Renata has it. I didn't make a note of it, but Betty, if you would do me a favor and send me in the chat.
Sure.
If you'd send me your email address in the chat window and your last name, there's an article that I'd like to send you that was published earlier this year that you might find useful. That was written by 3 docs from UCSF. Agarwal, Small, and Feng. I'll try and put the link in the chat window for you as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
So I think that's a pretty good history. I definitely want to get Jim Harrington involved. But before we do that, I just want to throw it open and just see if anybody's got any questions for you about yourself and your history. And then we'll bring Jim in and he'll tell you what his background is. And he's just embarking on similar treatment to you. So let me throw it open first. And would anybody like to ask Richard any questions?
This is Bill Burhans. I just have a question for Richard. Richard, when you went through this explosion, as you described it, what did your PSA rise to a very high level? I didn't quite catch that.
My PSA, I did note, rose to 38.
So, and that was the highest.
A huge level.
And that was.
It has fallen to a single digit, less than actually less than 4, but it's above negligible. So it rose to a shut up there when that occurred, but now it's dropped significantly.
And 38 is
it was never higher than 38.
Okay, it's a little bit difficult to understand you, but you just said that was the highest it's ever been, was 38?
38 was the highest it ever was, yes, and it occurred right in after this, what I would call explosion, or which appears to have been something that, like, it shot through the lymph system to other parts of the body all at once and then stopped.
Yeah. Okay, and you had genetic testing of your tumor?
I had genetic testing. The liver, I did have a liver biopsy, and they first analyzed the cancer in the liver and said it was the same type as the cancer in my prostate. And then they further said that they used the samples they got from the liver to do a DNA analysis. And the DNA analysis told them that it didn't have BRCA2 and didn't have the other things that were genetically transmittable, at least.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to be thinking, well, Jim Harrington or someone else takes over from here.
So this explosion to 38, this happened in the 4 or 5 months between when you went back on the Firmagon and you started the chemotherapy. Is that right?
Yes, I started the Firmagon the second time in July of 2016, and the explosion occurred either October or November of 2016.
Okay. Okay. I have just posted in the window. I'm pretty sure this is the right one. Somebody can check it because I'm trying to do too many things here at the same time. But that should be an article by. It should be an article by Agarwal, Peng, and Small. That is a really good article for anybody that's wrestling with more advanced prostate cancer. It does a good job in explaining the state of affairs all the way around. Jim, anybody else would like to say anything to Richard before I move to Jim? Okay. Jim, why don't you give Richard a little bit of your background and tell him where you're at with your treatment?
Yeah, sure, Rick. Thanks. It's also nice of you to connect us up because Richard is something similar, but the only difference is that I was on a trial. I was on a trial with pembrolizumab or Keytruda and Listeria. And I was about 6 months on this trial. It's going on at the Cancer Institute here in New Jersey, and it didn't work. In fact, my reading of this, at this site anyway, is that men are dropping out of this trial. It's a phase 1 trial for the simple reason is that pembrolizumab, which can work well in other cancers, seems not to be working so well, and there's really no indication at all that it can help in prostate cancer. But trials are important. It's a phase 1 trial. I think it's 8 centers. Anyway, what happened was the images, the CT scans and the bone scans indicated that my cancer is progressing into my liver and a little bit into my lungs. Now, it's not very advanced, but nevertheless, it's going that way. So we dropped the trial immediately and started chemo. In the meantime, I got a second opinion, and thanks to Rick, it was a wonderful suggestion, and Rick's been so helpful, from Dr. Dana Rathkoff at Memorial Sloan Kettering, a wonderful doctor. It's really impressive. The whole place has been impressive. My doctor is Dr. Stein here at the Cancer Institute, and